Good morning. Boy, this market is so full of surprises. Well, I shouldn't be so surprised. Just with last week's drop, and it wasn't the support, it does make sense that up here a bit. When I see these kind of patterns, much prefer that I prefer they break down through support and then reverse versus stopping ahead of time. But anyway, buyers have been relatively aggressive most of the time over the last year as things came down to support. And now we've got this trading range going on. And we'll see where today ends. Everybody knows election is tomorrow. And we'll see if buyers want to continue here and hold on to the gain this morning. They're already starting, as you can see, to back off a bit here. But with this strong move up, I mean, intraday anyway, until something really fails, the bias is it can continue to go higher. It got up to resistance. And, over here to the left is support on the daily time frame. And so we've got the beginnings of a trading range. And that might be what we're in for here today and maybe tomorrow, till when we get the results. Pre-market is 1 hour late today. I don't know what you mean by that, Rohit. In YouTube. 1 second, everybody. All right. There was a time change last night. Okay. So, yeah, we all dealt with that yesterday. I still don't follow what that got to do with today. Anyway, as you all know, last week was a big bearish bar. And again, they come back to this election news-driven market versus, big presidential election news versus the patterns. They always have that kind of a conflict, the logical thinking versus the technical of just the pattern. So at support, buyers are there. We'll see how far it goes. And as we always do, wide range bar, eyeball the middle of the bar, and we see if prices stay in the lower half, with the bodies, especially the opens and closes in the lower half, and that's bearish. The further it pushes into the wide range bar, well, the more logically it's reversing. And as we look at the hourly chart, you can see the resistance right there, which is the top of the topping tail, where sellers showed up, black and white. Look to the left, and now we see how far it retraces so far. It isn't much at all. Well, let's utilize this. I wish this thing didn't go all the way across, but that would be the buy area, right in here, which is nothing to the left, but as you can see, so that's a point that I always make about subjectivity. Something like this, what we call minor support, these highs here versus what is directly to the left. And as you look at the 15-minute or the 5, there's nothing there of significance. It already pushed through this little area here, so it's got to create support. That's the beginnings of what it's doing here. It's got to pivot, and now watch to see if this is a breakdown failure as we get closer to the open. And if it does, then we look for a little move up, and up to where it doesn't suggest a significant move before it's going to hit that pre-market high. And Qs weaker, weaker this morning, but they were stronger on Friday, not getting quite as close to the prior low. And I'm not sure where things are going to go here today. again, back to the news, but we got trading ranges everywhere. No matter where you look, pretty much daily charts were deep retracements over the last week or two into some support. And now we've got these trading ranges and M tops, and we'll all be seeing what happens on Wednesday, whether they break below or we just stay in the trading range. SPX. Probably, could be a good day for that, with the markets moving up and unlikely to make significant moves. 33.75. Well, it gets a little unnerved above here. Yeah. Because you've got nothing to stop it. This little area there, which, okay, that's 33.65. So 75, if there's any premium above 80, it's a little extra there. Trade opening 9:30 is now back. Okay, James, but 9:30 here is 9:30 here. So $33.80 SPX. What time is that? 2 o'clock. Oh, that's pre-market. All right, so $12.30. $12.30. Well, obviously, it would probably be free money at above 3,400. I don't think there's going to be any premium there. So there is premium at 33.80. Okay. Well, the story, it's up here. Markets are moving up and futures coming up. Buyers beginning to step up here. So, just relate the charts to what it is, I'm sure. What I'm thinking of doing, insert a symbol here. Since it's not 24 hours, it's going to be messed up. But I never looked at it this way before. Nah, that's a mess. All right, but so again, you can see that there's nothing, up above there. So looking at how we relate that to where the futures resistance is, it's just nothing there. Well, where the premium is, and as far away as you can get, there's nothing to stop it once it gets above here. But it's looking for the futures to stop things. All right, let's continue here. It's going to get late. All right. Dow actually cleared those highs. So it's leading. But we got the same thing everywhere. As I went through all the ETFs and markets over the weekend, there's some things showing relative strength or weakness, but everything went down over the last month and a couple of weeks. Some near support. This was weaker, so now it's showing some relative strength, getting a little bit above the highs. It's typically the case. What was weaker now showing some strength. Overall, big move down. You look for it to stay at the bottom part here. We see how far it goes. Vertical move to the downside, extended bottoming tail bar. It's technical bounce. Weekly charts are damaged. That's the short of what's going on. Russell, it's trying to form a bull flag there, a sloppy one. broke down like everything else last week. It's up at resistance here. So we're just seeing what happens. Do they stay up here at resistance, which would be bullish, and they chop around here? 10 o'clock reversal period, 10:30. We see, there's a pullback. Is it up here? And if it's up there by 10 o'clock, building up a little shelf of support, I suspect it goes higher, and we'll just see how far. Bonds actually up a little bit while the markets are up. That's interesting. I guess it's down near support. Really nothing of significance here yet, but typically it's been down while equities are up, and they're up here. So a little bit of a change in personality. Oil bouncing up after breaking down, technical bounce. Well, the story I've been talking about this possible breakdown failure, and it couldn't get through the resistance. So now, this is in an uptrend. Does it hold and come back up again? I think so. That's what I'm going to be watching for, to see if gold can, come back from this sell-off here and get back up there and resume the long-term trend. I'll look at the internals for you. In case of an M-top, what's the difference? Shallow pullback and bull flag. Well, bull flags don't have, they have a much shallower pullback. Right? Bull flags, if I can draw one. Well, let's go back to the Russell here. Bull flags are more like this, where it's tighter. This isn't a good example because of the tails on both sides, but they're just tighter, where you have something more like, obviously the flag is, you got the flagpole and it pivots, and it doesn't come back up to the high. It's more like, people that use the trend lines in that way, they connect the dots and so on. And whereas with an M-top, you have the momentum move, it has a shallow pullback and then comes back up into the area of the high. Sometimes it takes it out. So with a flag pattern, while this is shallow, this is extremely shallow. And, as you eyeball them, you see the difference. Okay. And silver is going to be the same as gold pretty much. It's been a little bit weaker, sloppier, nothing to do there. And obviously everybody knows transports were damaged. And now as they're down at the bottom of support, we'll see how much they can retrace. What I talked about in the newsletter over the weekend, as this Head and Shoulders top failed, which was one of the scenarios that we've been looking for. I explained it here, right? If this would fail, and it did, this, to stay bullish, was supposed to stay up here and move up. Obviously it didn't, and now it's down at this large support point. So if it does come up, one of the things we're looking for now is whether this turns into an even bigger Head and Shoulders. That would be the bearish scenario for the market going into next year. And if we have some kind of rally as to, well, how far do the transports get versus, this drop that it's had. Well, that's something we'll be looking for in the next week or two. And obviously, if it just stays down here and breaks, well, that's going to get pretty ugly. And everything will be ugly if that happens. We'll keep an eye on that. I guess that's it. The short order is, anticipation of this election results in the coming day and a half. Well, tomorrow night, we'll see what the futures are doing. Those of us that are up will be watching those screens and seeing if there's a retake of 4 years ago with that big move was a big opportunity. And so we'll see if that plays out. Well, yours, Dan.
Good morning. Yes, I can't wait for this to be over. I'm so sick of all the political ads and bickering and so forth.
Gibby, is
So,
today your birthday?
yes,
Happy birthday, my friend.
thank you very much.
By the way, everybody, Dan and I known each other, what, 25 years now, Dan?
Yep.
And we have very much similarities and differences as everybody, but we're both born in November. Mine's a little later. Dan is earlier, and so a double November birthdays. So
Yeah, if we didn't have Corona, we could take a trip down to the Caribbeans.
yeah,
Table it.
okay.
All right, so all our opens are fine. This XPEV crazy price action, we have a way out of the money put spread, and look at it now. More crazy price action, gapping right back to Friday's high. Craziness. And we put in the letters. I gave you a big long watch list, but um, I said, well, we're going to be very, very selective on new trades. And in fact, in the weekly options trader, oh, thanks, YouTube folks. In our weekly options trader, I only gave one trade for today, and that was a 0 DTE put spread. The logic being, if we open flat or down a little bit or up a little bit, if we were able to get over Friday's high, then yeah, I'll take that as a 0 DTE trade. But I just told them to hold off because now we're gapping over Friday's high. So, I still hope it sets up to do that. But I just with the big gap, I want to try to get us a better entry. We have call spreads on Amazon. the 34.95 is way the heck up here, and so this little gap up is meaningless to us. Zoom also, we have a call spread way the heck up here, and I've already tightened the stops, so those are totally fine. Let's go to gappers here. Reinhard Air with Europe locking down, the Jets are still in trouble. This one's gapping up though, but it's in a big wide trading range. McGraw, what option strategy do you think we could use on this? No time to answer. This is a condor. Yeah, this is a condor setup. Let's see if we can sell a 90 call spread and a whatever 76 put spread. Absolutely, McGraw. Yes. Do I have trepidation about selling put spreads or doing anything? Absolutely, I do. Just because I think there's going to be crazy whips, and I don't mind if you do it yourself, or sure, I'll answer questions throughout the day, today and tomorrow. But I just feel bad when our subscribers get whipped around. And ahead of a known event like earnings. That's why we don't hold over earnings unless it's a core trade. All right, let's continue here. Gary, HB. Oh, that's H for me. Got it. But I also read in the paper here in Florida, the CDC said they lifted their no sail order on the cruise ships, but these major cruise ships still said they're voluntarily not doing anything through the month of November. Still beat up sector. I don't have any interest in those right now. Look at little Iggy here. That is an amazing reverse head and shoulders. Look at these. Look at that is a beautiful, beautiful neckline. That's a head and shoulders, folks. It was also an M top over here, and the M top was actually the left shoulder of a bigger pattern. Here's the head, resistance, right shoulder, and now it's gapping too big. If this were to gap to, let's say, 675, then this would be a tier 1 beautiful, beautiful gap breakout. but the gap's too big right now. Yeah, Jeremy's saying he has been getting whipped around too. Yeah, I mean, and Greg and I talked about it. The only way to avoid it is not trade or use lighter share size with much bigger stops. Look at crazy Netflix. Look at that crazy action Thursday and Friday. So, let's say hypothetically you did go long on the reversal on Thursday. An example of a bigger stop would be the September low. But no, we're going to be cautious. ON had earnings gapping down, no pattern. BCC, we'll come back to you. These are all earnings. MPC, 29.50. That could be a put spread. I like the retest down here. I don't like it as a swing long because of all the resistance overhead, but a put spread maybe. Plow, no pattern. PAR, I'm just deleting you. Inger, there's no pattern, but it's extended. I don't like the way this trades. Whiskey Mike, maybe put spread over Thursday's high. Let me give you my big long watch list. Here's some right here. If you all want to look at some of those also. But look at CAT. If we didn't have earnings, I'm sorry, if we didn't have the election, CAT would have been in the weekly options trader. That is a beautiful put spread candidate. And now it's gapping up a couple bucks. Look at Triple M, reversal on major support in the 200. These would all, well, I'd have to go through my checklist, but I mean, there's a lot of bullish patterns out here. We'll go through them later. Wing, still in a nasty downtrend. I don't like the way this trades. Wide and whippy. ON, we already looked at. NS. That looks lower. Daily, weekly, monthly. I don't like the way that trades. NI gapping down a little bit, but no price void. We'll come back to you. Yeah, see, I just ignore these gaps unless I see liquid. This one could be a condor setup also. Hey, William, if you can change your drop down, all panelists and attendees. He's mentioned Duncan. Yeah, Duncan's up because of a buyout, taking them private. So there's nothing to do with that. Neo, yeah, I saw that was up. Some folks in the green trading room were trading this on Thursday. Nice little gap up from that 1, 2, 3. For me now, Jake, it's gapping too much. It's gapping over 12%, whatever. This is a mess, but it looks lower. A mess. Clorox gapping up. It's deep retracement. So that's a put spread candidate, earnings. So we should get some elevated juice. CDW, we'll come back. 28.62, it's gap into resistance, so I have no interest in that. Estee Lauder, 228. It's a bullish gap. It's gapping to the high of Wednesday. That's a bullish gap. Will EL lift Ulta? Maybe. They're both put spread ideas for Friday, if you don't mind election risk. FE, that's a mess and looks lower. Mess. LDOS. So many things are just messy. Light 84. It's worth watching. Let's see if it can churn through some of that resistance. 23 bucks, gapping up $1. You're a mess. Intel. Yeah, it is. It is. And that's a nice little gap up, 44.90. Yeah, that ain't bad. That might give you a day trade too. I have live Intel on my other computer, but yeah, it's worth watching. Gap up from climactic. RGS gapping down. You look lower. There, it's kind of a bull flag. That's a bullish gap right here. That's not bad. Maybe 30-minute high. So, gap in the resistance. Tenneco, garbage. USFD, garbage. Splunk. I don't know if this was earnings or if I just had it here as a call spread candidate. There's nothing wrong with that, Mark. Nothing wrong at all. Here's one. PS looks lower. Nice wide range breakdown. PS here I like. No, I know. It's just this was, I think I got this from Alex, I think, PS. But I like that. Wow, look at Zoom here. We still have that call spread. Look, that's nice relative weakness. And that Intel's coming in. Market's coming in. Sloppy right now. KMB also nice. Well, nice is a relative term. EFT, this one looks lower. If it can get under last week's low, it's a breakdown, daily, weekly, monthly. 80M, okay for a day trade long. Scott, hey, you're dropped. Oh, yeah, you fixed it.